Hello friends! In this video, we will learn together the whole process of creating a 3D scene using UE5 software, like this. Here is the summary of the video. First, we will show you how to prepare a file from 3ds Max and import it into UE5. You will then be given specific instructions on how to set up the lighting properly and increase the quality of the light for your scene. At the same time, we will also learn how to create materials and apply them to each object, creating vivid details in the scene. In particular, the video also introduces how to build the surrounding landscape terrain. Combined with the addition of natural details such as green grass, tall trees and branches, the landscape becomes rich and lively. To ensure the highest image quality while ensuring good performance, we will learn about Nanite, texture streaming pool over and post-process volume. Not only that, the video also introduces how to use the sequencer and camera so you can create impressive and professional footage. And finally, you'll learn how to export images and videos from created 3D scenes and combine them into a complete video. Let's explore, learn and apply the amazing techniques this video has to offer. Let's get started. Import 3ds Max file into UE5. First, go to the Evermotion website and download this free 3ds Max file. Once the download is done, open the file 3ds Max. Now, the objects in the file are being organized into a group. Let's execute the ungroup command to separate them. When finished, we will see the file divided into two groups. The first group contains the general structure of the house, and the second group is the interior. To make the management more convenient, we should separate them into two separate layers. Create a layer called House Structure and a layer named Furniture. Then add objects to each respective layer. We will first look at furniture objects. Let's ungroup them one more time. Objects such as tables and chairs have been attached. However, the vases are not attached yet. Please attach them again. There is a flower vase that is having an error. I will fix it. I want the interior objects to be softer, so I will use the Turbo Smooth command on them. Thus, the interior objects are temporarily fine. Now we show the structure of the whole house. These sections are still organized in a group, so execute the ungroup command again. Once all edits are done, right-click, select, Unhide All, then select, Synchronize, to sync all. Next, let's create a new project in UE5. I will use this template to start the project. Note that when you select this template, the Datasmith feature will not be pre-enabled. To activate Datasmith, go to the Plugins section and enable it. Once Datasmith has been activated, you can proceed to import 3ds Max files. We will choose the Direct Link Import File method. Choose to import geometry, materials and textures. Once imported, some elements in the project may need adjustment. I will remove the floor object in the scene. Change to Detail Lighting mode for a better view. I will hide these glass panels so that the light can shine inside the interior. However, I noticed that the inside of the house is a bit dark. To fix it, I will enable Auto Exposure. This feature helps to simulate how our eyes adapt to light and automatically adjusts the brightness based on the content. However, there are some problems that appear after importing 3ds Max files. First, the wall and ceiling are being penetrated because its side is reversed. The sofa also has the same problem. Second, there is a small part of the wall and floor overlapping, creating overlapping phenomenon. Finally, some of the furniture is deflected from the floor, creating an unnatural void. To fix these problems, we need to go back to 3ds Max and proceed with editing. First, we will fix the inverted wall and ceiling problem. For this to work, you need to select those faces. Then right-click and select Flip Normal. We will apply the same way to the sofa. Next, we will fix the duplicate floor. Select the faulty floor part. And reduce its height by 1 mm. For the problem of furniture not making full contact with the floor, we need to hide extraneous objects, keeping only the floor and furniture. Next, move the sofa until it touches the floor. And do the same with the rest of the furniture. Finally, right-click and select Unhide All, then click Synchronize. Come back to UE5 to check the results. Please double-check again. Bugs fixed. However, there is a small caveat. You will see a gap here. Since the outer wall is just a thin plan, when viewed from the inside, it becomes transparent. To solve this problem, we will apply a double-sided material by enabling the two-side mode. So this error has been fixed by us. We have finished transferring data from 3ds Max file to UE5. In the next part, we will set up the environment lighting. Setting up the lighting for the scene. First, we need to delete all the actors available in the outliner to start setting up the lighting from scratch. In this project, we will use Lumen Lighting System. To make sure Lumen Lighting is enabled, go to Project Settings and choose Rendering. By default, Lumen Lighting is already enabled, so we don't need to do anything extra. Now, to set the lighting for the scene, drag and drop the sun sky into the viewport. Sun sky consists of three main components: skylight, directional light, and sky atmosphere. We'll keep the defaults for the time being. One point of note is that the bottom half of the scene is currently black. To fix it, drag and drop the exponential fog in, which helps to background the area. Although exponential fog is often used to create a fog effect in a 3D scene, I didn't want this effect for my current scene, so I adjusted the start distance to the highest setting. This is the distance from the camera that the fog begins to appear. Next, drag and drop the post-process volume. It is used to adjust lighting and improve image quality. Activate the Infinite Extent, Unbound option. Make it apply across the entire scene. Finally, I will organize the above three actors into a common folder. With that, we've finished setting up the lighting for this scene. Apply gray material to test light. Currently, the actors we import from 3ds Max are being assigned automatic conversion materials from V-Ray to UE5. However, this material is not really optimal, making it impossible for light to reflect reality. To solve this problem, I decided to create a base material in UE5 for lighting and imaging testing purposes. First, right-click and select Material to create a new material. Name it. Then open the Material Editor panel for this material. Use the 1 key in combination with the left mouse button to create a constant. Enter the value for this constant as 0.5. Next, connect it to Base Color. Enable two-side mode. And finally, click Save to save. To assign this material, select all actors imported from 3ds Max. Select the newly created material. Then follow the way I am doing to apply them. So we are done with the material assignment to perform the light test. Improved light and image quality. This section is very important and includes the following items, which determine the quality of your image. Film. In the post-process volume, I will adjust the film. Specifically, the slope value will be set to 1 and the toe will be 0.2. This helps reduce contrast, making the image softer. Sun sky. With skylight, I will keep the default settings. For direction light, the intensity value will be set to 10. To edit the lighting direction, simply select the sun sky component and adjust the parameters accordingly. Exposure. In the post-process volume, look for exposure. Keep the auto exposure setting and it will automatically adjust the brightness for you. You can increase or decrease the exposure to adjust the brightness and darkness of the image. I will set the value for exposure compensation to 1.5. Ray tracing. To enhance the quality and accuracy of the light, turn on ray tracing. By Open Project Settings. Select the Rendering tab. Scroll down and you'll see hardware ray tracing. Please tick all these options. The software will then ask you to reboot. Let's hide this glass object. When done, reopen the Rendering tab and navigate to the Lumen section. In the Use Hardware Ray Tracing When Available section, check this option. This means if your GPU supports it, ray tracing will be enabled, resulting in better and faster results. Compare the difference before and after you make these changes, and you will see a significant improvement. Lumen Scene. Take a screenshot to compare the results before and after performing the steps in this section. To mark the camera location first, go to Bookmarks, select Set Bookmark, and then select Bookmark 0. When you press the 0 key, the viewport will return to the position you saved it to. Then take a screenshot at this location. To better understand Lumen lighting system, you should enable Lumen Scene View. When activated, you may see some objects appear black. This means that the Lumen system cannot recognize them. Cause 1. Material is not recognized by Lumen. Lumen may not understand some of the materials you are using, such as furniture on the table. To check, select the black object, then press Ctrl+E. In the panel that appears, you need to remove the material assigned to the object. If after doing this, the black color disappears, this indicates the problem lies in the material. This problem will be solved when we readjust the material in the next section. Note, you should press Ctrl+Z to go back to the original material, as we will use it in the next section on making materials. Second cause, object size is too small. Some objects, even with the material removed, still appear black because their size is too small and are ignored by Lumen. For objects like this sand bowl, scaling a bit larger will help Lumen identify. However, if you don't want to change the size, you can also accept and ignore this error. The third reason, the object has a high complexity. Objects such as floors and walls directly affect the accuracy of lighting in interior scenes. First, check for material-related errors. If the error is not fixed, go back to 3ds Max software. With Lumen, some objects are so complex that lumens can't be detected. The solution is to split the complex object into many smaller parts. Going back to UE5 to check, we see that the walls and floor have been fixed. However, the outside of this wall is still black. So we need to go back to 3ds Max and do the same thing. So the outside wall has also been fixed. To compare the difference between before and after, press 0 and take a screenshot. And here's a comparison between the before and after results. We find the light has been calculated more accurately. Install Lumen. Under Post-Process Volume, look for the Lumen section. To increase the light quality, you can set the same parameters as me. Here is a before and after comparison image of Lumen settings. Material. Import materials from bridge. Currently, the actors in the project are using materials that are automatically converted from VRE to UE5. To fine-tune and tweak them, we'll be using the parent material from Megascan. First, open the Quixel Bridge window and proceed to import any material. After successful import, open the material. This material is using a parent material. We will also use this parent material to edit and improve the materials in the project. Editing materials for wooden floors. Press Reset to get back the original material. Open the Material Detail panel. Let's define the textures used for this material. Then change the parent material. Drag and drop the respective textures into the correct position. Adjust the parameters accordingly. For actors using the same material as wooden floors, you just need to reset the material. Do the same with other wood materials. Make the same material with these two vases. Using materials from Quixel Bridge. We will be applying some materials from Quixel Bridge to this project. Please import these 5 materials. And here are the 5 materials I imported. I will assign them to the remaining objects. Glass material. Add the Starter Content folder to the project. In this folder, we will use this parent material to create the glass material. Glass object display. Restore the original material for the glass object and open the Edit panel. Change parent material. And adjust the parameters accordingly. Landscape. In this part, we will build the terrain around the house and apply materials to it. In the Modes panel, select Landscape to switch to Landscape mode. Here you can edit the size and details of the landscape. Adjust the parameters to your liking and then click Create to create a new landscape. Once you have a landscape, you can use tools to shape the landscape. After completing the terrain, we return to selection mode. Set the terrain's coordinates to 0 on the z-axis. You will see some black spots on the terrain. This comes from the LOD issue. Set the value of LOD 0 screen size to the lowest. In the next step, we will apply the material to the terrain. Find and import this grass material. Then go to Landscape Material to apply. Finally, edit the material's parameters accordingly. More grass. In this tutorial, we will learn how to create a grass layer for the terrain. First, you need to go to Epic Game and download this set of assets for the project. After the download is complete, we will proceed to use this grass. Although many people often use the foliage tool to create grass, I would like to recommend another tool, which is procedural foliage. This tool makes the weeding process faster and more efficient. To use it, open Editor Preferences and enable the procedural foliage feature. With this approach, we will not use static mesh assets directly. Instead, we will use assets located in the foliage folder. You need to create a procedural foliage spawner. Next, create the necessary elements. Then drag and drop this procedural foliage spawner into the viewport. Set it to the origin and zoom in size 50 times. Click Resimulate to create the grass layer. If you find the grass displayed too sparse, you can adjust the parameters accordingly. And here are the parameters that I edited, you can refer to. Also, don't forget to enable Nanite mode to optimize performance. One problem that we have is that the grass has covered the whole house. To solve this, we will apply procedural foliage blocking volume. This block will help us to stop the growth of grass. Therefore, place the block in the appropriate position. Finally, select the PFS actor and click Resimulate. we will use this asset to create a new layer of grass. The implementation method is the same as with the previous layer of grass. These are the parameters that I have adjusted, for your reference. Also, don't forget to enable Nanite mode to optimize performance. So we're done with the grass work. Add trees. In this tutorial, we will learn how to grow plants around the house. To get started, go to Epic Game and download this tree asset for your project. Once it's loaded, we'll proceed to use this asset to plant trees. The process of planting trees is quite similar to planting grass, but note that we will be planting more scattered trees than grass. Here are the parameters that I have customized, for your reference. Let's enable Nanite mode for these 5 tree assets. However, since these tree assets already have Nanite enabled, we don't need to do this step anymore. Finally, the planting of trees around the house was completed. Add branches. In this section, we will add branches to make the landscape rich and lively. First, import the following assets into your project. These are the assets that we just imported. You can take these assets and add them to your landscape flexibly to suit. Finally, enable Nanite mode for these assets, which optimizes performance. Transparency. We will customize the translucency configuration in post-process volume. To enhance the accuracy of translucency, choose ray tracing mode. Below, put max. Refraction ray's value is 2. Also, we can see that sunlight cannot penetrate this glass. To solve it, you need to access the parent material of the glass panel. And uncheck the option, Cast Ray Traced Shadows. So the light was able to pass through the glass. Nanite. Nanite is an important feature to optimize graphics performance. You should enable Nanite for every object in your project. Note that Nanite does not support the glass material, so remove the object that uses this material. Some objects with active nanite may experience shadow errors. To solve this problem, we should consider the following solutions. The first method is to disable the cast ray traced shadows of directional light. Select Directional Light. Under Cast Ray Traced Shadows, select Disabled. Then this problem will be solved. However, this will reduce the quality of the shadows. If you want to keep Enabled for Cast Ray Traced Shadows, you can use the second method. Enter this command with the value 0. However, every time you close and reopen the project, this value will reset to 1. To make sure every time you open a project the value is always 0, go to your project folder. Go to the Config folder and open the defaultengine.ini file. Insert the command line in the right place like I'm doing. Restart the project and you will see the value has been fixed at 0. If you still detect shadow errors on some objects, you can use the third method by select the object with the error and press Ctrl+E. Adjust Fallback Relative Error to value 0. Click Apply Changes to apply the changes. By doing the above, you have optimized performance with Nanite and successfully solved the problem of the shadow error. Cloud. In this part, we will learn how to create vivid clouds in the sky. First, you need to find the volumetric cloud and drag it to the desktop. Here, you can customize many different parameters, but I will use the default value. Also, for more detailed adjustments to the cloud, open the material and tweak as desired. Also, choose Sky Atmosphere in Sun Sky. And adjust the color of the sky, making it more natural. Texture Streaming Pool Over. In this section, we will learn how to fix the Texture Streaming Pool Over error. Texture Streaming Pool Over is the message you often see in Unreal Engine. It indicates that the system is requesting more memory for texture streaming than the allotted budget. To fix it, you should first consider reducing the size of the textures in the project. To do this, go to the texture you want to edit, right-click, select Asset Actions, then go to Bulk Edit via Property Matrix. In there, select all the textures in the list. Then set Maximum Texture Size to 1024. This means the maximum size you allow for each texture is 1024. However, this value makes the texture less detailed. So I will adjust to 2048. Do the same with textures in other folders. If after optimizing textures you still have memory issues, you can consider increasing the size of the texture streaming pool. To determine its current size, use this command in console. If needed, you can use that command and come with a new value to adjust the size. Thus, we have successfully fixed this error. Post-process volume. As your project progresses to completion, post-process volume becomes an important tool for enhancing the final image quality. This tool allows you to fine-tune color, lighting, sharpness, and many other factors to achieve the desired effect. For example, in the Color Grading section, in the Temperature section, you can customize the color based on the temperature, creating a warm or cold space. Under Global, adjust Saturation to help you increase or decrease color saturation. Also here, changing Contrast allows to adjust the difference between light and dark levels in the image. In general, post-process volume offers many options, making it easy to customize according to your preferences. However, in this project, I kept the default settings and did not change any more. Sequencer and camera. Sequencer is Unreal's versatile space-time editing tool that allows you to animate footage, effects, and create videos from those footage. Creating level sequence. To create a level sequence, right-click, go to Cinematics, and select New Level Sequence. Adding camera to sequencer. In the sequencer, click the Create New Camera icon. A new camera will appear in level and also added to sequencer. Next, adjust the camera's parameters to match the footage requirements. For example, I set the current focal length value from 35 to 15 to widen the viewing angle. Keyframing and animation. To make the camera move, you first need to define its starting position and ending position. Place the camera at the starting point. And add keyframe to Transform section. I'm going to make a 10-second video at 30 fps, so I'm going to move to the 300. Digital frame. Next, place the camera at the end point. And add keyframe to Transform section. When you play the time editor, the camera moves from the start point to the end point. Since I want to adjust the light direction differently for each sequence, I will add the sun sky's solar time parameter to the sequence. It is not necessary to use keyframes as I only use one solar time value on the entire timeline. I will customize solar time to fit. Finally, drag this bar so that it expands to 300 frames. Thus, we have completed a sequence with a 10-second video. To initialize a new sequence, simply copy the current sequence using Ctrl+D. Open the newly created sequence. Select to show Cine Camera Actor. Removed 2 old keyframes. Next, create 2 new keyframes in the same way to create a new video. You can also adjust the light direction for the new video right here. And here are the sequences that I finished. Rendering. First, you need to click this icon on the sequence bar to open the movie render queue. When the movie render queue appears, click on the settings. In the Output section, select the folder where you want to save the file. Next, I will adjust the resolution to 4K. And set the FPS to 30. Once done, save these settings. And choose Accept. Drag all the remaining sequences into the movie render queue. Finally, hit Render Local and wait until the rendering is complete. After rendering is complete, here are the output images. My computer takes about 15 minutes to complete this process. Image Sequence Editor. I will use Premiere Pro to combine rendered images into video. Of course, you can also choose other software to do this job. First, you just need to right-click and select Import. Next, select the first photo in the sequence. Following the above steps, you will create a video. Next, go to Sequence Setting to adjust the parameters for the video. Apply the same method to other image sequences. Here is the Premiere Pro file once it's done. And this is the result. If you find the video good, click like and subscribe. Any suggestions, please comment below the video. See you in the next video.